guys, welcome to Kima's Never Seen It. I'm your boy Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
And today the musical we're going to be talking about is West Side Story. Just kidding, guys. You know it's me. It's Kima. If you haven't noticed, I am bald. And I got this little Wiz Khalifa patch, so I'm just feeding into the character. But enough about me. Let's get into what this musical is about based on the DVD cover summary. An adaptation of the 1957 musical, West Side Story explores forbidden love and the rivalry between the Jets and the Sharks, two teenage street gangs of different ethnic backgrounds. I'm pretty sure I remember either reading, because I think it's a book and also a screenplay. I remember reading something back in high school about West Side Story, but I didn't really remember it that much, and I'm pretty sure we never actually watched the original screenplay. The one I'm talking about now is the one from 2021, I believe, so it's a newer adaptation, but you know, same story. To start off with the musical, we start off with the group, the gang, the Jets. They're going over to deface a mural that's of the Puerto Rican flag. So immediately, I knew there were some racist undertones in this that I have forgotten about from reading it back in high school. The Sharks, which is the other gang, the other group, they catch them because they're like painting all over it and splattering paint all over the Puerto Rican flag. They catch them, and then it turns out to be this big brawl. They're chasing each other, they're throwing things, they're beating each other up. So early in the movie, mind you. I also would like to say, I'm not a theater kid. I'm also not like a dance kid. I wish, honestly, I wish that in the beginning of my life, I was put into dance or something like that, because I just love it. I love the art of dance. And honestly, theater is really cool too. Like the art of it is amazing, and seeing it in musical form and like on Broadway and stuff. Ooh, I love it. And all of the dancing, the dance numbers in West Side Story and, you know, the different musical stuff. I love it. But the cops end up catching them, and, you know, they're basically going back and forth between the cops, and the Jets are just like, oh, we don't want y'all here. Y'all don't belong here. Blah, 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 blah. The same shit that we hear nowadays. Some things have not changed. But the Sharks are just like, that's crazy you don't want us here because we ain't going nowhere. And you know what? Respect. I'm Dominican. Mi gente Latino. Also, apparently they're all teenagers. Like, I know they casted grown men for this, but also like you could tell that they're grown. Actually, looking back, if this was set in the 1950s or even before, they were looking kind of grown. Like they had to be grown so early in life, so that actually makes sense. So never mind. But now we head over to Riff. Now Riff is like the leader of the Jets. He's like the main person of that group, and he goes over to his friend Tony. Tony used to be a part of the Jets, but he ended up going to jail. I think they said for like a year and some change. And ever since he got out, he's basically turned over a new leaf. So he doesn't really want much to do with the Jets. He doesn't want to be involved in like their gang activity or anything like that. He actually went to jail for beating someone up of an ethnic background. I believe they said it was like someone from the Egyptian kings. So someone from an ethnic background, and basically almost beat him to death and went to jail for it. So ever since then, he got out of jail. He's turned over a new leaf. He's living in Valentina's shop. Valentina, she was married to a white man of the community, and because of that, I guess like the Jets and Riff don't see her as being Puerto Rican, even though she is Puerto Rican. She's also fairer skinned, so there's also probably that aspect of it too, but whatever. So Riff is trying to convince Tony to come to this dance that's going to be going on. I guess there's going to be like this big school dance with, you know, people from the Jets and white side, and then people from the Sharks and Puerto Rican side. So he's just like, you should come to the dance and come with us in case anything pops off. Again, Tony's not really down for it, and the conversation kind of ends there. And then we move over to meet Maria. Then we meet Maria. She's the little sister of Bernardo. Bernardo is like the leader, captain, whatever may have you, of the Sharks. She is going to be going to this dance that Riff was just talking about, and we meet her date named Chino. We also meet Bernardo, which is the brother, and his girlfriend, Anita. They're getting dressed, ready for the dance, all this kind of stuff. They're ready to go. And again, going into the dance, it's kind of separated between white people and Puerto Ricans. Not really much of mixing, but they're trying to do some weird experiment. They're trying to basically mingle everybody together and make everyone get along. And it works for 0.5 seconds until Anita's just like, nah, we're gonna dance with our own people, and everyone just separates. Which obviously it's like, duh. Like they have this feud going on. The Jets are like doing all this stuff to them, a lot of it unprovoked. You think that the Sharks are really gonna be like, oh yeah, no, it's okay, let bygone. Nah, bruh, nah. And then Tony actually ends up showing up to the dance. Again, didn't really want to, but he ends up showing up and he sees Maria from a distance. Call it love at first sight or whatever it may have you, but they end up going behind the bleachers. They're like talking for a little bit and they end up kissing. This is forbidden. This is forbidden. You can't have a white person and a Puerto Rican be together in this neighborhood. No, that's an all-out war, and we'll get to it. If you know, you know, it is a war. But they end up getting caught, and Bernardo is upset with Maria. She's upset with Tony, like, don't touch my sister. Leave my sister alone. And now the Jets and the Sharks have a conversation together where they're just like, you know what? We don't like this, so now we're going to fight about it. They come up with all these parameters about, like, what to bring, what not to bring, what to do, what not to do, where to meet, all this kind of stuff. And from what it sounds like, because they're talking about bringing knives and chains and all this kind of stuff, they're trying to kill each other. This isn't just some like, oh, let's fight with fists. No, they're trying to kill each other. After they come to an agreement, Tony goes to Maria's neighborhood to go and find her. He does end up finding her, and it's just like, you know what? Let's just run away together, which stories like this always get me. It's something that makes me appreciate the movie Frozen, because it's just like Elsa's also in here, my dog. Elsa is just like, you can't fall in love or marry someone you don't even know. And that's what all these stories are. Like, I don't understand. But they talk about meeting up later and basically going on their way to like hang out, get to know each other, blah, 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 blah. They separate for a second until the next day. Maria goes inside. She's talking to Anita. She's talking to Bernardo. And she also finds out that there's going to be a fight, basically because of what's going on between her and Tony.
Y tú no eres mi jefe. And I am not interested in what you have to say.
After that, we actually have a little scene from Anita. She's expressing how much that she loves America and she'd rather stay there than go to Puerto Rico or go back home to Puerto Rico. And like there, I can argue on both sides of why they're right or why each side has a good point. But like I said, leaving somewhere to go somewhere else for better conditions, a better life, whatever, that's stuff that still happens to this day. That's actually a hot button issue of stuff that's going on today still. So like, I can understand. She's like, we got a wash machine. We can get credit. We can get all these like nicer houses and homes. But Bernardo is just like, yeah, but stuff like this only benefits us if we're white. Stuff like this, you know, it's still harder to come by. We still get spit on, So it's just like a lot of back and forth and a lot of valid points on both sides.
I'll get the taste of land.
Better get rid of your accent.
Now we go over to Tony. He's with Valentina in her shop, and he's trying to learn Spanish phrases to talk to Maria with, which I do think it's cute to do that. So, okay, whatever, Tony. But also, he's just like, I want to be with her forever. How do you say with forever? Blah, 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 blah. And I just talked about this, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but bro. So then after that, he goes up to meet with Maria, and he actually tells her about his past and what he did to end up in jail, how long he was in jail, who he beat up and all that kind of stuff. Maria is okay with it, which I guess, like, he went to jail. He looks like he's trying to turn over a new leaf. Okay. He's trying to be a changed man. That's not him anymore. Blah, 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 blah. Still would have me scratching my head because it's just like, out of hate, you beat someone up who looks just like me and almost killed him, but didn't because whatever. But apparently that doesn't really matter to her because she is so much in love. And she tells him that, hey, you have to make sure that fight doesn't go on. And he said, don't worry, nothing's going to happen. Well, Tony, let me tell you. The Jets go and get a gun. So much for the parameters of what they set, so much for playing fair. No, they get a gun. And they're basically just like, oh, if they start to get all crazy, we got something. What the fuck? Tony also ends up finding them and is just like, hey, he sees the gun too. He's just like, no, don't do this. Don't fight. No, don't use this gun. Don't take it. No such luck. And they still end up meeting each other. They're all getting ready. They're getting changed. They're getting bats. They're getting all this kind of stuff. And they meet to fight. And while the fight is going down, Maria's oblivious. Anita's oblivious to what's going on. Like, there's no, like, there's all this is happening in the background. But Tony ends up showing up. Again, he's trying to separate everybody, and he ends up getting into it with Bernardo. He's just like, listen, you're mad at me. I can understand, but I mean no harm, da-da-da-da-da. And him and Bernardo end up fighting.
You and me, we just got off on the wrong foot as
I always know which foot I'm on.
Now, Tony's a changed man. He regrets what he did back in the day, and he doesn't want to do that again. However, when he's beating up Bernardo, he literally starts to beat him up, probably like he did that other kid, part of the Egyptian kings, and then he finally stops himself because he realizes, I'm doing the exact same thing. That was the old me. So he does stop, but Bernardo isn't done with him. And then in the midst of that, there starts to be a knife fight between him and Riff. So it switches from Bernardo and Tony to Bernardo and Riff. They're having a little knife fight. Bernardo ends up stabbing Riff. Tony sees that because now Riff is dead. Tony stabs Bernardo. He kills Maria's brother. Remember that. Now both of the leaders are dead. Bernardo of the Sharks and Riff of the Jets. They're both dead. They both have gotten stabbed. It's really sad because what are we doing here? And remember, Riff brought a gun, but he ended up dropping it. And Chino, remember Chino, Maria's date from earlier? He was there and picks up that gun. After the fight, again, everyone disperses. Everyone's running from the cops. Everyone's trying to hide. Chino finds Maria, and he's trying to talk to her. And he's just like, finally, after everything, is just like, Tony killed your brother, by the way.
¿Le pasó algo?
Tony killed Bernardo.
Maria doesn't want to believe it because, again, she's apparently just so in love with Tony and all this kind of stuff. But it's just like, he did, though. He did kill your brother. What are you going to do about it now? And Anita finds out, and she has to go down to the station or the morgue and identify Bernardo's body. I have no words. That is the saddest thing ever. Then later on, Tony ends up showing up at Maria's house. He's in the window, still beaten up, still bloody, still this and that. And he confirms that it happened, and he's just like, oh, I should go. Maria lets him stay. That shit pisses me off so much. This man killed your brother. This man killed your brother. And he shows up to the house where your brother lived along with his girlfriend, and you're gonna be like, oh, it's okay. Girl, I just, that pisses me off. If that's what true love is, keep that shit away from me. That is insane. It's a movie. It's just a musical. It's just a movie. So Tony stays for a little bit, and I think Anita comes home to talk to Maria, and she's trying to go into her room, and before Tony can sneak out and run away, Anita sees him. And I'm not saying she should have put her hands on Maria. I'm not saying she should have slapped her. I'm not saying any of that. However, I can understand with the heightened emotions and how she's feeling about that man that murdered her boyfriend. And Maria's out here saying, oh, I'm in love. You should understand because you say you were in love with my brother. Like, I just, like, girl, like, I'm not saying she should have hit her. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that with all the heightened emotion, holding back seemed like it was really hard. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So then we go to Val's shop because Tony lives downstairs there. So he's there, and all the Jets are there too because they're all trying to talk to him. But he doesn't want to talk to anybody, and Val also isn't letting anybody come in the room. Now, Anita has a message that Maria wanted to give to Tony. So she goes over to Val's shop, and she's just like, hey, I need to talk to Tony. I have a message for him, but they're all giving her a hard time because they're evil bastards. Even the girls who are like on the Jet side, they were just like, let her go, let her leave. We don't want her here. No, those are nasty, evil men. And they were trying to assault her, but Val comes in and breaks them up, gets them off of her. And then the message that that Anita gives Val is tell Tony that Chino found out about Maria and Tony, and since he killed her brother and Chino was upset, Chino killed Maria. Obviously, that's not true, but that's what Anita said. And then later on, Val goes back downstairs, tells Tony that, and he's not good. He goes out searching, and he wants to find Chino because I feel like in this moment, he feels like if Maria is dead, he'd rather be dead too. Like, I don't think he wanted to like fight Chino or anything like that. I think he just wanted him to kill him. But as he's searching for Chino, he actually sees Maria, and this is actually a little bit sad, but like he sees Maria and he's just like, oh my God. Chino comes up behind him, shoots him down too. So Tony's dead now, actually ends up dying in Maria's arms. She's all upset and takes the gun away from Chino, and it's just like, how many bullets are left? I can kill all y'all. I can kill myself. Like, what's going on? Blase, blase. But they just end up taking Tony's body away. They carry his body away. And that's how the movie ends. Which, what? I'm not sure if this is how the screenplay ends or how the book ends, but the fact that it just ended with Tony dying and Maria being a blubbering mess, like, what? I don't know, y'all. Not a satisfying ending to me, but let's see what this got on Rotten Tomatoes. This one got a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, and honestly, I don't agree, simply because I don't like the storyline. I thought the acting was great. I thought the dancing was amazing. I thought the music was good. The interludes of the musical parts, I thought that was good. But the storyline itself, I don't like. So if we're going based off of everything else that I said and not the storyline, okay, I can understand it being a 91%, maybe in the 80s for me. With the storyline, it brings it down. You're not gonna kill my brother, and then I'm just like, oh, I'm still so in love with you. Like what are we talking about? I don't know. That's just my opinion. And again, this is old. Like, this is like an old like book screenplay from way back in the day. It reminds me of Romeo and Juliet. It's like that kind of vibe. So it's just like not my cup of tea. Not a story that I'm really interested in, but the acting, the dancing, all of that, loved it. The colors, the dress, everything, loved all of that. Just not the storyline. But that's it for this week's video, guys. And thank you all again so much for tuning in this week. If there's something that you agree with, don't agree with, you want to say how good I did, or you have any suggestions for movies that I should watch in the future, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I will say that, again, this month is for musicals, so we have one more week of musicals. In July, I think it's just going to be a free-for-all. There were a couple movies that I was going to watch, but they're not on streaming services anymore. So leave any suggestions of any movies that you think I should watch. It's just, it's a free-for-all. I will basically watch anything. And I also want to say, just a heads up, in August, I think I may take a break. My birthday is in August, and, I just think I'm going to take a quick break to step back and come back in September. So it's just gonna be like a little intermission. I'm not done with the channel. Keep bringing me movies. Keep bringing me things to watch. Just in August itself, I'm gonna go dark for a little bit, and then I'll be back in September. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Tell everybody you know about my channel. Thank you guys for the suggestions. Like I said, I'm watching these movies, all these things that you're sending me, and I appreciate it because, I'm building up that brain rot that I had. It's healing, so I'm doing good. Thank you. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. Kima's Never Seen It on TikTok, if we still have it, and Instagram, and then that's Kima J on Blue Sky. It wouldn't be me if I didn't take a quick moment to express my gratitude and appreciation for you guys tuning in each week. I know you got that notification bell on. I know you're subscribed. I know you got a timer in your phone that says, hey, Kima's video just dropped. But if for some reason you don't, or you just got here, I have more videos back there. Go ahead, check them out. Let me know what you think. But that's it for this week's video, guys, and I will see you back here next Thursday. Bye.